gonna laugh. I might cry and I'm gonna wanna tell you why, because hey, well that's just life. So do-do-do, do-do-do-do, 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 do-do you, and I will do me. Ew. Okay, for real.
Welcome to Ill for Real, where around here you never know what you're gonna get, because life is like a box of chocolates. And this is where you come in and you say, I love you, Jenny. So the last episode I was pushing off a cold, remember, for that wedding that I was on my way to. And then I let it hit me. I was sick. I have had this obnoxious cough just lingering for weeks, however long it's been since I recorded that. And I woke up sick again. I am not feeling good at all physically, but mentally and spiritually, guys, I think I'm on the up and up. Today's episode, we are going to talk about medications for mental illnesses and depression, anxiety, and therapy. I just went on my Instagram stories and I asked you guys your thoughts on all of those things, and so I'm going to read you your responses. But today I really want to talk about how I'm doing and just a life update. But it's not just an update for like those of you who have been following my personal journey. You know, hopefully this helps someone out there. Say they come across the podcast or my Instagram or whatever, and you happen to tune into this and you have been second guessing therapy or medication, things like that, and you just want some more info from someone who is not a doctor, not a physician, not a psychologist, not a therapist, but someone with mental illness. And hopefully you guys can relate. So, as I mentioned, I'm feeling a little bit sick. Last night, I woke up like officially feeling it. I had finally gotten over my cold, or not my cold. Yes, I got over a cold, but I got over my cough, and I am feeling so ill. ILL, also so ill. EW, for real. I'm just going to go ahead and mention that I think this week's episode's title is going to be mental illness. Oh, I cracked myself up. Anyways, raise your hand if you have a mental illness. I'm just kidding. That somebody's going to take that the wrong way, but I don't mean it. Like, I don't take mental illness lightly, but it really is. Like, it makes me feel ill. So this is the things we talk about here. Ill for real. I woke up feeling really ill physically. However, having slept in my camper for the first time after all of this blood, sweat, and tears that I've poured into this camper renovation that you guys have been following along with on TikTok and a little bit on Instagram, I have been telling my sister-in-law, Paige, where my camper is residing right now, that I was going to sleep in my camper like all this time, and I never have, because the door wasn't officially on, or it just didn't have enough silicone, and I was worried about the rain. Well, yesterday I have yet to post a video, but I took a quick little video of me officially taking off the blue freaking tarp from the top of the camper that was there to cover it in the rain and stuff. So I am feeling so accomplished, so very, very, very proud of myself that I cannot believe that I can walk in there, that a door opens and closes, that the windows are on and sealed, that I know about screws. TikTok has officially dubbed me an honorary man. Apparently, there's always a bunch of guys in there watching because, you know, they see a little girl fixing up a camper with all these power tools and they're like, they either roast me and try to troll me, or they're like, oh my God, like it took me years to learn that thing, or wow, you're doing really good for somebody who's never done this. And they're very proud of me. And the fact that I know the difference in the numbers of screws, the difference between an 8 and a 10, the thickness, and the length, and a wood screw versus a sheet metal screw and all that. Like, they were they were applauding me for now knowing these things, what a galvanized nail is, and that they're not magnetic, for example. And so you guys were joking around saying that it's okay, I'm welcome to the club, I'm an honorary man. I thought it was hilarious. But anyways, I finally got to sleep there, and I had a little space heater going. It's comfy cozy. The propane heater, the stove, and the oven, broiler, everything works. The electric plugs in. You guys have been so sweet and have been sending stuff from my Amazon wish list. So I have new twinkle lights and things like that in the camper, but it was really comfy, really cozy, and just a surreal, blissful moment. And I woke up on a bed and not a couch and not in my car. Guys, I no longer have to live in a car. I organized all my closet and my clothes, my shoes, my cleaning stuff. I do want to take you guys maybe on a live stream to go antiquing, because I want to get some stuff for my kitchen. I want like a little mini coffee pot and maybe a tiny waffle maker, but I want them to look vintage inspired. So we're going to thrift for these things. Okay, so you guys get ready, because we are coming back with TikToktions on the road. No joke. I'm so excited to get back into this full time. Any hoodles. So that's a good thing. It's an update. And if you guys follow my other podcast called Immediately No, you heard me mention there that I was going to my very first therapy appointment in my 32 years of life. And that went well. And the reason I've been able to accomplish this camper project towards the end of this through extreme bouts of crippling depression is because before you say ew for real and you leave, let me explain. And not that it matters or that I have to, it's just that this is what I talk about, and I know it turns some people off or whatever, but I am now medicated for anxiety and depression, mostly depression. But right after my intake appointment for therapy, they recommended that I go on 2 medications, and it has been a roller coaster of a ride. And before I forget everything and lose my memory as I do, I want to just talk about it in this episode and document for myself, but also for you out there who are curious how this experience has been for me, because again, I know it turns some people off, and I completely know why. And some of you are like, oh, that's fine, that's normal, it's medication, people do this. I didn't really have that outlook on it, so you are going to get a perspective from someone who now understands, being on the other side, why you guys are pro medication. This is probably one of the very, very few out of like 3 life situations that I now understand from being on both sides of the spectrum. So we're going to get into it and talk about my mental illness. So I might not get into the nitty-gritty details, but I went for an intake, and I didn't realize it was an intake. I thought it was just an appointment with a therapist. I went into the room, and the woman is just bug-eyed deep into her laptop, just tippy-typing away. Not paying attention to me, not making eye contact, but asking me a bunch of questions. Okay, why are you here? What brings you here? And I was like, ew, actually, I do better with questions. Can you just like ask me a question and we'll start from there? But she was like, well, what made you want to come and get therapy? So I thought she was going to be my therapist, and luckily, probably half an hour into this meeting, I realized that she's not, thank God. The reason she was on her laptop and typing and yada yada was because she was literally typing every single word that I was saying, my experiences, my symptoms, my story, this and that, because she was trying to match me with a therapist. So nobody told me that she was there to make an assessment. So if you ever go to therapy and you're like, ew, this person was horrible, she literally does not even make eye contact and they're on their computer and stuff like that the whole time, I just want you to be aware that you might not have all the information and to be patient, because there could be a reason why a person that you go to see for the first time is acting that way. And that's not every case. Sometimes there are bad therapists, I think. Hello, this is Jenny in editing, popping in very stuffily nosed to add that I didn't get any information where I went. The office that I went to, they were really easy to work with, very flexible with the schedule. I am able to take therapy online, so whenever I travel and I'm on the road, I can do it as well as in person. But for some reason, the psychologist that assessed me for the medication and stuff that I'm on didn't give me anything, any type of like warning signs, a packet, an information brochure, literally nothing. So don't be like scared or turned off by that. Just be an advocate for yourself. I very much so am. I am not afraid to ask questions. I know that some people may be, but just don't let that be what leaves the bad taste in your mouth, because they may have just forgotten to give me the packet. I don't know. Or maybe they were like, oh, she's good, she didn't ask any questions, whatever. But please advocate for yourself, and please ask questions if you need to, about side effects, about when you should. They didn't tell me if I should take them in the morning or in the night or whatever, so I googled everything and I talked to my friends, which will get more into this. I'm about to share my experience with the medication itself, and I learned information elsewhere than from the office, and I'm not mad at them. I guess I could bring it up and let them know so that they're aware that that happened, but just people are human. People make mistakes. If that was a mistake on their end, it's fine. Everything's going to be okay. We don't have to have an attitude, because I got the help that I needed and everything is okay. But I was very turned off, and I was already open to the idea of therapy, but kind of turned off by it because I'm a very, very self-aware person, as you guys know, what I should and shouldn't be doing. I know the mistakes that I've made. I like taking constructive criticism, things like that, but I just didn't know what therapy was really going to do for me, because this is just a person. It's another human being who also needs therapy. I'm sure I've mentioned this before on the podcast. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but if you're new here, this is just how my brain worked. I just don't know what this human being, the aliens that we are, is going to tell me that's going to make me go, oh my God, wow, I never thought of that before. I never looked at it that way. I've never said this shit to myself. Nobody's ever said this to me before. Like, there's pretty much nothing on this earth that anyone can tell me that is going to be an epiphany or an eye-opening moment. So I know that therapy is good because people are like, oh, you're able to get out all of your feelings and you're this and that. You could talk to somebody who's unbiased. The fact that I'm talking to someone who is unbiased, it means nothing to me, really. Like, I want to talk to somebody who is biased, honestly. I want to talk to someone who's going to put me in my place. Not that a therapist who doesn't know me can't do that, but I just didn't know exactly how it would help, you know? And I've only had 2 sessions, so I still am teetering on that thought. I still kind of do feel the same way, because my second session with my actual therapist, once they set me up for an appointment the first time, my second appointment was just kind of like a follow-up, and this lady's getting to know me, and she knows bits and pieces of my story, but I could tell that there's like not in a bad way, but there's lines crossing. She's like, oh yeah, okay, you're the one, basically like, you're the one with the husband who cheated on you, you know, like, she has to remember what client does what. And not only that, but these therapists, they also need therapy. On top of that, they're taking on everyone's emotions all day long. And as an empathetic person, that is so heavy. You might not have like a panic attack or anything like that from listening to other people's drama, but it is very taxing and tolling on your body. So I'm aware that this is just another human being. This is their profession, yes, but just as doctors make mistakes and surgeons make mistakes and carpenters make mistakes, so do therapists. They're not perfect. What is going to happen to make me feel better? I don't think that therapy itself is going to make me feel better. I think that it's me doing the work on myself that is going to get me there. But I don't understand really how or why I would need a therapist to aid me in doing that. If that makes sense, guys. Sorry to be like long-winded or whatever, but this is just what a podcast is, okay? We're talking here and you're listening, so shut up and listen. I'm just kidding. So where do I go from here? So therapy has been fine. And I think on a previous episode, I've mentioned what the therapist helped me with regarding boundaries. I believe I talked about that with my little sister on an episode. So if you want to hear more about that, you can go to the previous episode from this one. So that was helpful with setting boundaries, and I've still been working on it. Second session was following up, basically. I didn't really get any like, oh wow, like epiphany, like eye-opening, nothing, but something about, I guess, being validated in therapy has helped me, even though everybody that I talk to validates me and I validate myself, but also something to do with like me pointing out something that I did and her being like, well, why? You know, or what do you think brought you to make that decision or to make that mistake? You know, her questioning me, questioning myself, I guess, is another form of validation. I'm like, okay, yeah, I did think that this was really stupid of me to do. I shouldn't have done that. But the fact that she's kind of not calling me out on it, but like bringing light to like, okay, you're aware, like, it's helping me personally because I feel very self-aware, but saying these things out loud that I'm doing right and wrong and what someone else is doing right and wrong in my eyes is kind of making me feel like I'm not crazy. Like, okay, I am self-aware. I'm not just saying this. I'm not just bullshitting. I'm not just like a piece of shit and not learning any lessons or taking constructive criticism. So that's another form of validation that has helped. I'm very curious to see how next appointments are going to go, but I'm very proud of myself for taking this step, and I'm very grateful to my sister-in-law, Paige, who literally picked up the phone and called for me. She called herself. She got my insurance card and gave them my information, and they had to call me to set up an appointment to get me into therapy. All of this brings me to say, in a little bit, I'm going to cover and go a little backtrack to here. Remind me to keep my spot. And talk about how I can't believe I had access to this. I didn't even know that my insurance covered this. We'll talk more about that in a second. Now, leaving therapy, they recommended 2 medications. You bet your bottom dollar here that I jumped on that and had them fill the prescription as quickly as possible. And I picked it up from CVS the first day that I was able to do so, because Paige calling for me to get me into therapy and then also helping me make the step to look into medication was a huge step and a Hail Mary, a desperate attempt for any sort of outside help to literally get me through every single day. So this was my last ditch effort to feel some sort of normalcy, okay? Maybe one day I will get into the text message that I received from a family member right after filling the prescription for this medication. Maybe I'll get into it in this episode. I'm not sure. It's a little bit heavy, but it's real life. I'm just going to be very transparent here. They put me on Zoloft, which the medical term for it is sertraline, and Abilify. I don't know what the other name is for that, but Zoloft is an antidepressant, and Abilify, I believe, is what you would call a mood stabilizer, but when I looked it up, it treats ADHD, OCD, bipolar, anxiety. I think it can help patients who have autism, which is really funny because I do make jokes. I don't make light of it, but I make jokes because since the beginning of time, comedy is joking about things that make people uncomfortable, okay? So when you hear me making jokes about something, it's just the way I cope, okay? But I joke about having autism and having ADHD, and I've never been diagnosed or medicated for this. But now having taken the medication, I'm like, maybe I do got a touch of the autism. I think I'm a little bit on the spectrum. I think we all are in certain ways and forms, of course. We are human. I've joked about it, but now having been on medication, I was like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm just going to go out and say, I cannot believe how I've been living. I just literally cannot even fathom how I have been dealing with what I have been dealing with without any help. So my experience with the medication itself, and then I'll go into reading your responses about all this stuff. I'm giving it some time so more of you guys can answer on my Instagram stories. My dosage is 50 milligrams, okay? I have a friend who also takes antidepressants, and when I told them my experience and my dosage, they were like, that's really high. I started at 25 and I had to have them lower it to 20 milligrams for Zoloft. I'm a lot smaller than them. I'm a lightweight. I should weigh more than what I do now, but I'm malnutritioned because of my depression. So when I told them that I was on 50 milligrams, they were like, what the hell? Well, no wonder you're feeling what you're feeling. So basically, the first night that I took it, I took my full dosage, 50 milligrams of Zoloft, and I think it's like 5 to 10 milligrams of Abilify. The psychologist that they sent me to in order to get these medications, who gave me an assessment, is who prescribes me that amount for different reasons. I don't know what it is that I said or how I looked or how I came off that she would start me at that dosage, but that's what she started me at. And I was like, okay, maybe I need a little bit of help. I don't know if this is normal for you. I don't know if it's not, if it's common, who knows? But I keep hearing that that is a lot of milligrams. So I took both pills the first night, and when I tell you guys that I was high as balls, because I've been high before, okay? I smoked weed. I've done shrooms. I don't know if I've talked about that on here, but one episode we're going to talk about fucking shrooms, because that shit, I would microdose that every day of my life if I could. Never felt more happy in my entire life. That's besides the point. We'll get back to shrooms. But I have been high. And the feeling that I got, okay, well, first of all, nausea. Why did I just say that like that? Nausea. I was very nauseous. I felt like I was going to throw up. I was extremely dizzy. I was very loopy and groggy. And guys, I could have slept for a month straight. I was so tired. And this medication tells you to take it first thing in the morning. Luckily, my friend who I told about my dosage, we'll call him Waggy, because that's what we call him. If you guys remember who Waggy is. Waggy was telling me that he had to switch from taking his pills in the morning to taking them at night. And his doctor did not recommend this. He just decided to make that switch on his own because of how tired these antidepressants were making him. I had no idea that this would happen. So I took, just from hearing him in the past say that he used to take them at night, I just took my first dose at night. Thank God I did. Because I was so tired. I could barely function. I love the feeling that shrooms gives you because it's like it heightens all of your senses. So everything that you see is beautiful. Everything you smell is amazing. Everything you touch feels wonderful. But the visual effects that shrooms give you is what this medicine was making me feel like. And I could feel myself feeling the paranoia that I get when I smoke weed, which is why I don't like to smoke weed, because I literally just feel like someone's watching me, that if someone was around that they would think I looked crazy. I pause and I would like look up at something in the ceiling and I'm like, is that moving? It's moving. It's moving. I think it's moving, but I'm staring at it for like 2 minutes straight. And I was like, if somebody comes in this room and sees me staring at the ceiling like this, they're going to think I'm psychotic because I can't move my eyes from this object that is moving. And so I was having the effects of both shrooms and weed in the middle of the night while looking at a Christmas tree. There's a Christmas tree in Paige's living room and the lights just were like, oh my God, you guys. It was insane. Do I mind that? No, honestly, I could have dealt with that if I'm like comfortable, safe at home. Obviously, the bottle says do not drive or operate machinery. Now I know why. I would not have been driving like that. But the effects that I felt on this freaking medication was so intense. Now, side story, funny, and I kind of regret it after the fact. When I told Paige about my experience with the medication, she did not have these. Everybody's different. Just because this is my experience does not mean it's going to be your experience. This was not Paige's experience at all. Maybe I should like wait for her to be on this podcast with me so we could both tell you our perspectives or something. But she did not get these type of effects. She started at a higher dose than I did and ended up having to amp her dose up because she wasn't getting the proper effects from her medication that she needed. So she's on a much higher dose than I am. And so she was looking at me like, okay, you're exaggerating, Jenny. Like, it's not that serious, you know? And I thought I was going crazy. I was like, there's no way that people are like, oh, you're not going to feel anything. Nothing's going to happen. It takes a month for your body to acclimate to this, because I was high as balls, guys. But I think that since she did not have that experience and she doesn't know what it feels like or looks like or anything, that she really thought I was okay. And I thought I was okay. I thought I didn't know. I thought maybe it was something that I ate, honestly, because I've never heard of a medication making you high like that that's like an antidepressant. So I thought I was just really, really tired. She asked me to watch her kids that morning, and I was fine, guys. Like, by the time the morning came and it's time for me to wake up and like be there and alert and everything with the kids, I was okay. But we had a very, very lazy day. We just watched Mary Poppins. We watched Moana. I don't even know what I made them to eat. It was like oatmeal or something. Something just like really easy in the morning, because I could barely like keep my eyes open. I didn't feel loopy anymore. I didn't feel like high after a while, but I was so tired. I was just dragging, and like any little sound and peep that the baby would make, like when he was fussing, it was like, oh my God, I just like want to sleep so bad. I wanted to cry. I'm not gonna lie, all day long I just wanted to cry. But it was an emergency and she needed me to watch the kids, and so I said yes. And now in the future, if I ever am maybe upping a dose or changing a medication or trying something new, I am going to set that boundary and be like, I am not capable of this right now. I cannot. I will fall asleep and we will all be in danger, you know? And you know, I told all of this to Paige. She's aware, but I really was like, I know that she would not have left me with her kids if she left and I was like out of sorts completely, you know, and I wasn't acting normal. It's nothing like that. I was just so tired was all it was. But then as soon as she was like home, it like hit me. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like allow myself to feel this tiredness now and be sleepy. Oh my God, you guys, I could have just slept for a week straight. I was so exhausted. So that was my experience with the medications the very first night. And I do think that part of that was not the antidepressant. I think it was the Abilify with it, because the psychologist told me that the Abilify was just to amplify the effects of the antidepressant. When I looked into it, like I said, it treats all these other conditions. But her reasoning for giving me that was, your depression is very, very, very bad. So we're just going to give you this little boost. So the next few days, I messed with it and I was like, okay, I'm going to try a half a dosage just to see if I'm being crazy or if maybe I just need to call them and lower my dosage. So I took only a half a pill of each. And that's when I noticed that night that I took them, I was in the basement at Alyssa's house where I have my little like apartment kind of place there. And it's an unfinished basement, so the floorboards and the ceiling, like when you look up and you see the wooden beams, they were moving. They looked like piano keys moving. And there was a shadow coming in on the wall from the window, and the shadow was like moving across the wall. And I felt that feeling of paranoia again for another like 5 minutes, because I remember looking up to the window above my bed and staring so hard at the window, trying to figure out if there was a tree outside the window that was casting a shadow of leaves moving on the wall. But that's what it looked like. The light being cast on the wall looked like there was a tree moving in the wind. And I stared and stared at this window, and there was not a tree, and my brain could not process this. And that was on a half dosage of both pills. So I was going to call, and ask them if they could lower it or whatever. But I was like, you know what? Tonight, I'm just going to take the antidepressant and not the Abilify. So the next night, I did that. And I don't think I felt a difference, honestly. And then I forgot to take medication for 3 days. I didn't take anything at all. And then the next time that I took it, I took the full dosage of each pill again. And I felt a little bit better. I was pretty groggy in the morning, but I was fine. And then the next day, I took a half dosage again, and boom, that's when it started. I have since been up every day at 6 in the morning. So we'll get back to that and talk about like my schedule and the effects and everything. But I do want to point out and say that if you are ever going to look into medication, do not do what I did. I did not realize until my second meeting with my therapist that she asked me, because she wasn't the one that recommended medication. It was the person who did the intake that recommended it. But the therapist needs to know what medications I'm on so that she can see like what I'm dealing with and my mood and stuff like that. So she asked me how it was going, and I explained all this process to her, and she was like, okay, you just need to be consistent with it and don't go back and forth. You can't go one day and take it and not another day. You can't go full dose and then a half dose. Now, this is one of the things that kind of turned me off to the idea of getting on medication, was because I'm very bad at taking pills when I was on birth control or, vitamins. Oh my God, I'm so bad at taking my vitamins. The X Endurance that I had, the collagen greens that I would talk about on here, loved that stuff. Made a huge difference in my life, and I'm so bad with having like a daily like routine regimen. I can't. I would have 35,000 alarms on my phone. So anyways, I'm really bad with taking pills, and I also didn't want to have to deal with like, oh my God, this is why I feel like this today because I didn't take my medication. Like, I don't want to become like addicted to something or reliant on something. And Waggy has told me, he's like, that's not how medications work. You're not going to get addicted to it. But I have since learned that it's not that your body is forming an addiction, it's that it's, for lack of a better word, messing with the chemicals in your body. It is reacting with the chemicals in your body. And if you give your body these chemicals and then the next day you don't, the chemicals in your body are going to react like you're just going to be keep going up and down, up and down, up and down. You have to be consistent with it or the results are not going to be consistent. So I now know it's not at all a feeling of like, oh my God, I need my meds. I mean, like, that's what I was thinking, that it was going to be like an addiction of like, I need to take a chill pill, literally. So let me pop this pill in my mouth. It is not like that at all. It's just that the inconsistency is going to continue, if that makes sense. So, I have since put an alarm on my phone, and every night at 8 o'clock, I take my 2 pills and I'm taking the full dose. I told the therapist that I was concerned about the effects that I had that first night and that I might want to go to a lower dosage, but I've never called the psychologist or the pharmacy or anything to change that because I knew in my head I wasn't being consistent with it. One day I forgot, the next day I took a half, the other, I was like, you know what? No, let me just push through this grogginess and these symptoms that I don't like or care for, but I'm taking this pill at night. I'm asleep. What does it matter? It's going to help me sleep. I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to feel better. Sure enough, guys, I have not made the call to lower my dosage from my 50 milligrams. My body has adjusted. It has taken a week for me personally. I've heard that other people take much longer. Some people, it hits them right away. Again, Paige has a very high tolerance for things. I have a very low tolerance for drugs. If I just look at a weed, I get high, okay? So, being consistent with it has really helped. And I am not sure how long you have been here on this podcast or how well you know me or how loyal of a follower you are. But if the next sentences out of my mouth are just going to blow your mind. I take a pill every night at 8 p.m. and around 10 to 11 o'clock, I am so tired. I do not remember when I put my phone down, when I knock out. My brain is not racing. My thoughts are not going completely wild. I am not up all night with anxiety, with sadness, with intrusive thoughts. And I naturally wake up around 6:30. I know that it's very early and I'm not going to want to do anything that time. So sometimes I'll just knock back out till 8 o'clock. I have an alarm that goes off at 9:30. And by that time my alarm goes off, I'm already up and having my coffee and starting my day and working on the camper and organizing my clothes. For the last week, I have been wide awake starting my day at 8 a.m. between 8 and 8:30. And me saying that to some of you is going to sound so dumb and so ridiculous. But if you know me at all, are you even here? Are you on the ground? Are you okay? Are you alive? Did you faint? Do I need to call the ambulance? Should I call the hospital? Do you need me to come pick you up? Because I know you are not well right now. So I told Waggy and I told Paige and Jason, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, I was like, guys, what is this? Paige looked at me one morning, dead in the eyes. Both of her children are up screaming in the living room. I usually sleep through that for hours and hours and hours on end in the morning. I wake up at like 11 o'clock, Earliest, she'll be like, I'm going to force you to get up at 10 a.m. But usually I sleep through her kids, like waking up at 6, 7, whatever. I'm wide awake, staring at her and the child, And she's looking at me like she has seen a ghost and is disgusted by this ghost because the ghost just shit their pants. That's like the face she's making, if you can picture that. And she goes, "What the fuck are you doing awake right now?" That's what she said to me, because I wasn't just like, oh, like my eyes were like open and groggy. I was awake. And she was like, "What are you doing?" She could not freaking like process what was happening. I was like, "I don't know. What's wrong with me right now? Why am I awake?" And I told Waggy, and I told Jason, I was like, "I have been waking up at freaking 6:30 every day. I don't know what this is. I'm so freaking tired at night, and I sleep so hard. And I don't know what this medication is doing to me that has turned me into this weird, like freaking just such a deep sleep and blah, 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 wake up with all this energy in the morning." And they both said to me, "Wow, they're making you normal." Oh my God. I was just so embarrassed because it hit me at that point that both of these men wake up at like 5 o'clock at the latest, in the morning, and they go to work and they're starting their day like that all the freaking time. Mothers of children who are going to school. Everybody is up at that time in the morning, but I am not. It is not normal for me. I am a night owl, and I love being a night owl, and I want to continue being a night owl, but I don't understand what is in this drug. Is there melatonin? Because melatonin has always been like way too, I'm telling you, I'm a lightweight. I took 3 milligrams of melatonin once, and I was out for 3 freaking days. And I took a 1 milligram melatonin, and I thought I was going to die, like literally. So I don't know if they put bits and pieces of bits and pieces, you know what I mean though. If they put bits of melatonin, or if it's got literally tiny microdoses of shrooms, I have no idea. But I was dying laughing that everybody's like, "Jenny, that's normal." And it's literally just making you normal. There's nothing wrong with you. But this has just been a completely new world and a new experience. I just honestly don't even know what to do with it yet, because I get so much accomplished in my day. So, my friend, it turns out that I am one of those people that has lived my entire 32 years of life coping unhealthily and trying to cope naturally with my depression and everything else. Now, this brings me to the more serious part of the conversation, which is I just had this talk with Paige last night, and that might also be contributing to why I feel really bad, because I was up crying a lot with her and just opening up to her. But I told her that I am really sad, okay? This medication has not cured my depression, okay? I'm still depressed. I'm still not happy with where I'm at in life, with what happened to me in my life. I don't remember the last time I've felt happiness. And this is probably why they put me on this depression medication, because I told them this. I'm always low, 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 low. If I'm smiling and goofing around, if I'm making TikToks, if I'm on my live stream and I'm fixing my camper with my friends and my family, and you guys are like, "Oh my God, Jenny, she's so funny and she's so this and she's got a smile." Guys, I promise you, in that moment, I'm trying not to cry right now, I am so low. I'm so sad. I'm so down. And I don't know when it is ever going to leave me. I really, truly do not. But this medication, for the last, what is it? Maybe it's 2 weeks now that I've been on it, has helped me function. I am at a steady. I go to sleep and my mind is not panicking. I wake up and I don't feel an instant urge to want to end everything. Okay, I'm trying not to say morbid words, but that's very much so the truth of my reality. I don't feel like I just want to strangle every person that I speak to because they do not understand me. I understand that I look happy and I'm smiley and I bring you joy and I make you laugh, but I don't feel like that, and I don't know how to explain to you the patience and the love and the care and the hugs and the just love that I need, and I don't feel it. Even though you're trying to give it to me, I literally just can't control it. These medications, now that I have adjusted to it and stopped messing with the doses and consistently have been taking it, I am just going to let it out right now. I'm just going to start crying. Ew, for real, it's happening. I'm really proud of myself that I can say this. And Paige gave me a hug. She came out of her comfort zone last night and gave me a hug. Because I cannot believe that I am functioning normally. Ew, perfect timing. Paige just called me. I have tears streaming down my face, and it cut me off mid-sentence in a very vulnerable moment, but I'm gonna go answer the phone and call Paige back because I don't know why she was calling me. Okay, bye, I'll be right back. Ew. Ew, for real. I guess her phone call came at a perfect time because I would have been really snotty and disgusting the rest of this freaking episode. But I don't know, we have like telekinesis or something, or synchronicity telekinesis, because she was just calling to check up on me. What are the odds that I was talking about her? But anyways, I don't even know where I was at. I was probably about to start breaking down crying, just explaining, like, I don't know, I kind of wish I was still crying about it and really in my feels, because that's legit how I feel about it. I cannot believe that for the past 2 years, I have been suffering, just suffering, and that I had access to this the whole time. I didn't know that my insurance covered it. I didn't know that my insurance allowed coverage for therapy. I didn't know that it was as easy as picking up the phone and just asking around. I have tried in the past. I tried with BetterHelp. I tried calling places in the area that offer counseling services, but their lists were so backed up and long, their waiting lists, that I just got extremely discouraged. And this is just me extending this little bit of information, hopefully to help someone. Guys, do not get discouraged and give up. Please don't get to the point where you are so depressed and suicidal that your family members have to make the call for you because they are literally worried for your life. Where there is a will, there is a way, is literally my motto. My will right now is to keep going with this and to keep pushing and to see the light at the end of this tunnel, that this freaking medication that I never in my life ever wanted to be on, and what it has done for me. If I had just kept trying and making the phone calls. And I am so grateful till the day that I die to Paige for taking that step for me. But it really wasn't necessary, and I didn't have to put her through that, and I didn't have to stress her out and put something else on her plate and make her worry that I'm literally just not going to be here one day, you know? I am very sad. I think this is what I was crying about before. I'm so sad that I didn't do this sooner. 2 years ago, I think, honestly, if I'm being completely honest and transparent, I think I could have probably saved my marriage or remnants of that friendship. I think I could have saved myself from not spiraling and just being extremely paranoid every day of my life, worried that somebody's cheating on me, stabbing me in the back, wanting to stalk him, which we'll get into this one day, but I don't see it as stalking because that's my husband and he's lying to me, and he says that he's on his way home while I'm cooking him a full-fledged dinner, and then I catch him in a car fucking some other girl. So call me crazy, but I don't give a crap if you're gonna call me a stalker because you're my husband and you shouldn't be doing that. So really, who's in the wrong here? Anyways, back to the regularly scheduled program. I'm very, very, very sad that I didn't do this sooner. And see, me saying out loud, I know how crazy it sounds that I'm saying I wish I would have gotten the help that I needed to save my marriage. You guys on the other side are probably like, why would you want to save that marriage? And for me, it's because I really, truly am true to myself. And I love that man. I loved him with all my heart. I still do love him. I'm not in love with him. He's not in love with me anymore. I don't know when I ever will be in love with someone or if I want to be again. But I am so damaged from what I put myself through in the past 2 years. And if I had known now what I do, I think I just would have been in a completely different place. I have done so much work on this camper in the last week that I have been banned from TikTok live streams because someone reported me and I have not been able to go live. I have done more this week by myself off camera on medication than I have all summer long not on medication, spiraling into depression. All summer. And it is insanity. And again, this is coming from someone who, this is why I struggle with it. I struggle with, I'm very sorry to say I was not an advocate for medication. I'm a very natural type person. I am the type of person that if I'm struggling with depression or something, I can go outside and feel at peace. I can lay in the grass and feel the dirt beneath me and look up at the leaves and the moon and the stars and take deep breaths and just feel freaking life. And I don't remember the last time I felt that. And I'm in nature, and the camper is here being worked on a property that's sitting on a bayou, and there's water, and there's a freaking forest behind the house, and my beautiful niece and nephew, and people that love me and support me, and I feel nothing. And I am so incapable right now of even getting through the day, of functioning properly, that I needed some sort of help to get me to a place that hopefully one day I will just stop taking these pills or wean all the way down to 0 milligrams one day and be able to say, I'm going to go do yoga outside today to feel better because this helps with my depression. I'm going to sit and color today in my camper because this helps me with my depression. But right now I can't do it. My family who has stuck by my side and watched me should be able to vouch for those of you who have left my life. If you are here and you're listening to this, I miss you, but shame on you for making me feel bad for not being able to even want to wake up in the morning. Shame on you for not giving me the patience and the grace that I needed to heal, because I'm still not healed. It's 2 years later and nothing has changed except for that I'm on medication now that makes me feel like a flat line, which doesn't make sense, but you picture flatlining, the line is going straight across the screen. I feel like that on the inside, like I have freaking died, like I am not here anymore. But at least my heart is actually beating and my mental state is not going up and down. It's so bad. The extremely highs and the extremely lows is so unbearable. All I wanted to do was flatline. And this stupid medication and being in therapy has helped my brain feel like that. A steady, a constant, a stable, just flat, peaceful line. And even then, I am so sorry that I am not myself. But I'm just not myself, and I'm not healed, and I'm not ready to be fully, full-fledged, dived into how I used to be, who I used to be for you. Right now is a season of me, and I can't even take care of me. So you're not gonna ever, ever, ever shame me for doing what I needed to do, because I did not, absolutely did not think that I was going to have this reaction to medication. I thought I was going to hate it. I thought I was going to be addicted. I was going to be disgusted. I was going to feel like garbage every day. And I'm just going to feel like, oh, this just weak, helpless little girl who's on medicine. Like, that's not how I looked at people who are on medication. That's just how I felt like I was going to feel about myself. And the fact that my experience has been completely opposite, I would have given anything to have this 10 years ago in my life. Anything. Testing. Can you say testing from there?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so you guys get a surprise guest in this episode. So Falia immediately know. We have my niece, Sophia, and she's here with Moderator P in the house.
Moderator P.
It's Paige. I was telling Paige about the episode that I was just recording, kind of documenting my journey and the experience with getting on meds and getting into therapy, and that she's the person that called, and set all this up. You guys know. And then she gave me a good perspective about the medications right now that I didn't really think of before. So I'll kind of let her give you that perspective if she wants, but also like maybe your experience and like the difference in how you felt about it versus how I felt about it in the beginning when I was scared.
Yeah. Well, my perspective on it is definitely I look at it as religion. I mean, it goes either way. You shouldn't shove it down somebody's throat. If you believe that it's going to work, then you shouldn't shove it down somebody's throat. You shouldn't tell them that they can't go and get help just because you don't believe in that. But that was with you too, though. I mean, I knew from the longest time that you needed it, but I knew that you didn't want to. And you were telling me, like, doing yoga and doing all those like natural stuff was going to help you.
I talked about all of that in the episode I went into. I'm like, I'm very like nature-y type person.
Yeah, but I just knew there's just my perspective and the people that I've been around my life. I'm not an expert, but I do know when people just need medication, because sometimes your depression is too bad that you can't
function.
It's okay. You need that little bit of extra help. And that's what I was explaining to Jenny. I'm like, my medication is like, it's a Band-Aid. All medication is just a Band-Aid. Like, you have to actually work on it, work on yourself, work on what's around you. Like, whatever's making you depressed, you need to like go to therapy, or however you cope with trauma or whatever it is, you need to get help. Medication is just a Band-Aid. It's just there to help you function and help you not lay in bed all day.
Yeah.
I'm okay with my Band-Aid. I don't care to fix it. I don't care to go to therapy. I've been to therapists and I don't like it. My Band-Aid makes me function, makes me a better mom, makes me a better person. And I just don't have the time right now to fix it, and nor do I really care. But that's what I was saying. I think you just need medication right now. And then when you are better and you can function, then you start doing your healing how you like to, and then you can slowly get off of your medication,
Yeah. I can always stop at any time because you don't really get addicted to it. It's just that I'll be able to cope better, And I talked about that too. Like, it's not an addiction. I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm like stressed out, I need to like take a pill. Like, it's not like that where people feel that way, like how they smoke and stuff. And I think that there's a stigma that people think that you're going to get addicted to it like that. And I haven't been on it very long, but it's just, I don't know. I think it's interesting, these topics, because like you have been on medication for like how long? Like, you have so much more experience.
Actually not that long. I've only been on it for maybe 2 years.
Okay. Well,
But
that's a long time
But
to
I've
me.
been
Like,
very depressed for many years, though. I mean, I should have been on medication like years ago. I just never did because I didn't believe in it. I was one of those people, I didn't want to get addicted to it. I didn't need it. I just kept telling myself I didn't need it, but I really did just need it. I don't really know, truthfully, I don't really know what I have anymore. I don't know if it's just anxiety or it's depression.
okay.
I don't really know. I don't feel like I used to back then, like when I was like, you know, let's just say 15. No, I was even younger than that, like 12 or 13. I don't feel like I did back then, but I do know that it's weird because whatever this medicine is, I'm like, it just mellows me out, I guess. Like I mean, you've seen when I don't take it for like a few days, like a week, like I haven't been taking it because I couldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
And I just get very mad. I get very angry if I don't have it. But like some people, that makes them worried because, oh my God, it's making you crazy if you don't take your meds. And it's like, it's just a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. So if you're not willing to work on yourself while using that Band-Aid, then you just have to accept the fact that if you don't have your Band-Aid, you're going to have those side effects because you're not working on yourself. You're not going to therapy. They're not telling you what coping mechanisms to use to help you. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I just don't care to.
I mean, I don't notice, honestly, when you're not taking your medication, like, I don't feel like you're super different just because, like, your personality doesn't change. I think people think that, like, it's going to make you, like, super crazy or, like, Paige is not going to be, like, blunt and straight up with me or, like, feisty or what. Like, it doesn't change your personality. I think it just, it's a mood stabilizer. It changes your mood. And so when you are like, can't you tell? Like, I haven't been on my meds, or I can't really tell because you're still you. And I think that's what people are scared of, is that you're just not, you're going to be a completely different person. And for some people, I'm sure they do feel that, but me, wow. Thank you. Yeah, I think people are scared that they're just going to be like almost bipolar. And I just haven't had that experience. I don't know if other people with the meds that I'm on, I told them it was Zoloft and Abilify. Yours is Zoloft, so it's the same antidepressant as mine, but more of a dosage because you, I think, have more tolerance than I do. But yeah, it doesn't, I mean, I don't know if you feel the same towards me. Do I seem like a different person, or?
No, you just, that's what I said. Like, that's what I was trying to explain to you, how the medication works. It doesn't change you as a person. It just, like, it makes you think more clear. Like, okay, like, let's just say, for example, if you're, like, literally about to sit there and just explode, it just allows you to, like, not explode. You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you just mellow out. It's not like you're high. It's weird. It's hard to explain. You're not high. I don't feel you just, like, if I don't take my meds, I get angry. I burst out and I scream, and that's why I got a medication, because I get very angry. And when I'm on my medication, I can tell a difference, because if something would make me explode or something, I notice, like, oh, that's a time that I would explode, but I'm not right now. Like, it helps. It helps.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, is that it's, I feel just like steady, like a flat line. You know, when someone's about to like die, it's just beep. Like, that's what my mood feels. There's no extreme highs and extreme lows, but not being on meds right now, I'm alive and I feel all these feelings, but they're just too much. They're just up and down and constant, and it's just making you avoid that. The anger is like up here. You're just, like you said, you're going to explode. And that's what's been really weird, is that if this is something that is supposed to work the way that it's working for me, for people, and they're just not doing it because of being scared like I was, like, now that I've experienced it, it makes me really sad. That's when I started breaking down in the podcast when you called me and I was in the middle of crying. I was like, I can't believe that I feel like this. I literally don't know what it feels like to be tired at night and not be in a panic attack and then wake up. I was telling them how your mom was my witness.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock in the morning and working and having energy. But I'm not happy. Not like, oh my gosh, I love where I'm at in my life. I love my life. Butterflies and rainbows.
Right.
Like, you're just normal.
Right. That's it. Yeah. That's another thing I was telling you too. It doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make you sad.
Mm-hmm.
Just, what is the right word for that? Like, it doesn't. It's just a Band-Aid, you know? You have to do what makes you happy. Whatever's making you sad, you have to fix that.
It's like a stable. I don't know what word either to use other than like steady, constant, stable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think that was another thing is that I have friends and family that probably think that I'm assuming it's just going to make me happy. It's like, no, I'm not happy, but like I had a happy day today because like I did things that I needed to do because I was able to get up and function.
And you don't sit there and think about sit there and think about all of the negative anymore.
Yeah.
You sit there and you think of like, oh, what do I need to do today? Okay, I'll start doing that. And then like once you get into like that normal routine of like, okay, just doing your normal everyday stuff, your brain almost is like, oh, okay, like I'm not, you're still like, you're not depressed. Like, you're just being normal,
Yeah, and that's how I definitely felt before, is constantly just thinking of, I'm not trying to be negative and think negatively, but I'm just thinking of all of, I'm so sad because blah, blah, and it makes me think of my past relationship and it makes me think of the divorce, and like it was just always on my mind. And I catch myself like today, I was like, I'm just like not even thinking of depressing things. Like I'll have moments during the day where I'm like, yeah, I'm sad. Like I don't like where my life is at. But like, anyways, I'm gonna get in the shower now.
Yeah.
Like literally just live.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it forever. I do want to be able to get to a point where I can feel like this on my own. But then like you said you're okay with your Band-Aid for,
yeah.
You don't even care if it's forever?
Yeah, I don't care. It's not like, I mean, it's not doing anything to me. Like, it's not killing me. I mean, if anybody wants to go down that route, that like, oh, it's like killing your inner organs and all that. Okay, literally, so is a McDonald's that I eat 3 times a week.
Yeah, she has McDonald's multiple times. Like,
I love McDonald's.
We're all gonna die.
Like, I don't really care. But I mean, if that is something that people are worried about, I don't know, maybe like go back and like listen to this, because I don't, if you, let's say you go to a therapist and they say, okay, we're going to start you on meds, but I need you to write in a journal every day about these feelings, and then also color. Let's just say those things, okay? If let's say you start taking your meds and your meds allow you to start doing those little things that you couldn't do before, you still have to take your meds, but you still have to like take a shower. You still have to write in your book that the therapist told you to do. You still have to do those exercises that the therapist is telling you to do, because you're not going to get better if you don't.
So this is just going to help you do those things. You have to do it either way,
Yes.
But one way you're going to be depressed while doing it, and another way you're going to be stable while doing it.
But I'm okay with just taking my meds, though. I don't want to do all those extra steps to actually help me. I don't want to do that.
Why don't you want to?
Because that's so much damn work. I'm too busy for that. I'm not going to write in a freaking journal every day. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It's so much. I hate it. I would die without Savannah, my maid of honor. I would die without her. I couldn't have made it through a lot of hard times without her. But she's definitely one, like, write in the journal, like, do all these things, blah, 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 because it's going to
actually heal you.
Yeah, but, like, no.
But so you're okay with not actually healing
I'm fine with my Band-Aid.
your depression.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. See, I don't want to live like this forever. But okay, well, that was a good perspective. I was just interested. I hadn't heard somebody talk about meds and comparing it to religion like you did, so I thought that was a good point. Like, don't shove it down people's throat, but the fact that I am on it, don't shove it down my throat that it's wrong either. You
Right. I will say too that if anybody like does know of anybody that's like very depressed and it's just they're just constantly bringing up only negative things and they're only I mean like yeah it was just like
Sad.
literally constant just sadness, nothing makes them happy. They're literally always telling you like I'm depressed. They just keep telling you I'm depressed, I'm not happy, I don't care, I don't want to do this. Obviously I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, but that's something that they need a little bit of extra help and maybe try therapy first. But if it's just not working, like sometimes you just need medication to be able to want to help yourself.
Yeah.
You need medication sometimes to just exist, to be able to take a shower, you know?
That's so nice. That's coming from the girl who literally looked at me in my face and said, I'm fucking calling for you today, Nani. I'm going to make the call. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself, and she helped me. So I think, is that where you're going with this?
Mhm.
Like, somebody, if you know someone
Yeah.
like that, like, just
Yeah.
be that
You
aid
just-
for them. Even if you don't believe in it, like, maybe that person could benefit from medication, even if you don't want them to take it.
Don't push it, because sometimes you can definitely push people away by doing that. I'm just speaking from experience. It happened with me. I can get into it later, but just be calm about it. Be nice about it. Just look them, whoever it is, look them straight in their face and just be like, I know you're calling out for help, but you're not at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
This
not
is
doing
what I
anything
can.
about it.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do for you, and I'm sorry, but you're not gonna get an option. We are gonna do this together, though.
Yeah.
We can either go down the therapy route or we can go down the medication route, because either way, you need something and you need help, professional help, not from your friends and family, because they can't do anything for you. They
Yeah.
cannot help you. You need to, if somebody's talking to you, just constant sadness, you need to help them. That's all it is. You just need to help them. And if they get mad at you, I mean, yeah, they might.
I was annoyed. Like, I just didn't want to go to an office and be assessed, you know? But I wasn't, like, mad, but
it's irritating.
it's just annoying. Like, when you're that depressed and you're that low, I don't want to fucking get up. I don't want to get in a car. I don't want to drive anywhere.
And then
be like, okay, well, that's what you want, and then leave you alone, and then 3 weeks later, they're not here anymore. Like, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
To just leave them alone.
Right.
You know?
But if you do end up, if anybody does end up like calling for whoever it is you're calling for, I mean, just try to get them in as soon as possible, because the longer somebody is depressed and the longer that they just sit there and that's what they're going to think about, because they're used to their feeling that they're feeling. They're used to just being sad and they don't want to do it. Be supportive. Just be like, all right, like, let's take a shower now. Let's go, because we're going to be late, or, it is on this day. Why don't we go and get your favorite drink or snack before we go, and like go with them. Don't treat them like a baby. Just treat them like it's an everyday thing, but also just be like, yep, hurry up. We're not going to be late today. Be stern about it at the same time.
And the longer you wait too, the longer it's going to take them. It's going to take me years to make up for the depression that I've been in for 2 years, you know?
Yeah.
The longer you wait, the more time it's going to take for me to heal.
Yeah.
So thank you for calling for me. I appreciate it. They've heard all about it. You can go back and listen to the beginning of this episode if you want. But I finally got Paige on here as a guest. What do you have to say about this, Sophia?
Sí, no.
Immediately no. She's mad.
She's tired.
She's very sleepy.
What time is
This was a very spontaneous thing. Paige and I were just talking in the kitchen, so she decided to join. But leave me a comment on my Instagram stories if you want a full Paige episode one day. And you can hear her while she's nice and drunk on my other podcast. Immediately know. This week's episode, you know what the title is going to be? Mental illness.
Ew. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Mental illness.
That's good.
Ill, for real. You want to do word girl real quick?
Word. Oh, yeah.
You've been curious, right? You want to try it?
Yeah.
We've done it before, right?
Yeah, with Brenda in the car. When we were to pick up your camper.
Yeah, we did it. We tried to land on the same word with 3 people. You want to play, Sophia?
Let's play.
You play? 1, 2, random word. 3. Mashed potatoes. Oh, wow! Oh, she said bacon and I said mashed potatoes.
Okay, I got
Okay,
one.
what are we going to say?
I got it already.
I don't know which one you're going to say.
Wow. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Baked
Cauliflower.
Potato. My God.
I was gonna say baked potato, but I didn't know if you were gonna do it because it has 2 words.
I was gonna say cauliflower.
Oh, that's funny. So baked potato and cauliflower. Okay.
Okay.
We got it?
I don't know. Maybe.
We got it. 3, 2, 1.
Dinner.
Sour cream. Oh, damn it. Okay, dinner and sour cream.
Oh my God.
We got it.
Okay. Oh, I definitely got it.
Dinner and sour cream.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Jason.
He hates sour cream, and Paige has been making a meal. She's been using a cookbook, and they taught us to make cauliflower mash. So it's like mashed potatoes, but out of cauliflower florets. I've never even heard of this, and it is literally so delicious. Paige and I both love sour cream, so we put a shit ton of sour cream, and Jason was like, this is the grossest looking bowl of sour cream I've ever seen, but it's so good. Cauliflower mash. Anyways, that's funny. We landed on Jason, who should also be featured in our next episode. He was all right. Well, that was a good episode. Hope you guys got something out of that. I'm gonna let Sophia go to sleep now. You want to say bye, Sophia?
Bye.
Say bye-bye. Immediately bye.
Go tell mommy bye.
And then I said bye, puta.
And I will do me. Ew. Okay, for real.